Should we mute it?
And today we're going to give the world a moment of silence for things around us as the clear
I'll mute
light.
it.
We are thankful that today
Maybe.
is that day. So our first practice, let us all just sit up straight. As we close our eyes, we begin to breathe slowly and deeply. As our spine is straight, let us remind of the intention that we set as we came here for the first time, whether it is to dedicate practice to somebody or to actually reach enlightenment, which is a form of blissfulness, happiness, and prosperity to all. And as we inhale, we do what we call the ocean breath. As we breathe in, we sigh out as though we are breathing like an ocean. Upon counting, looking at some of the breaths that we breathe in and breathe out, just pay attention as though we're observing the ocean, breathing in and breathing out, as it talks to us, like as though it's our mother that is showing us that she's alive, that she loves us all. If there's any obstructions, anything that bothers you, take your time to dedicate this. Offer your suffering, your joy, your happiness, everything to the ocean. And as we take 3 deep inhalations, and from 3 inhalations, we hold our breath in do the breath of fire. Pump all that breath in and out from your belly, as though it is a bellow. You should be able to breathe by exhaling from your belly and feeling the heat coming out from your dantians. Now you can relax. Relax if you can. Notice the sensation in your body. Has all that grateful energy from deep within you rise up to your pineal gland and dissolving all tensions. And as the pineal gland is purified, you may notice that it is pulsating with light, pulsating like the heart within you, that you are alive from within and without. As you're pulsating from that third eye, you will visualize your root deity that you have most connection with. And in this case, it's love. This deity of love that you just visualize is inseparable from you. And that love and yourself are one. All beings on this world want to have love. Not all, we all know that when we practice this practice of Dzogchen, it is not always easy as we contemplate on the three minds as we are visualizing our teacher, which is love, is that this practice is not designed for everyone. Not everyone knows the mystery schools. And not many people know what Dzogchen is. And not even many could be able to practice it. And that the moment of our lives are so short that it only takes one heartbeat for us to face death. That it's nowhere, that we're just only close to dying in any angle. Knowing that everything is possible. Everything is within our own reach. May we be persistent in this practice. May we send this intention towards our deity, towards all beings, so that others may benefit from this. When we visualize what love is, ask yourself, what is love? Can I feel it right now? Am I feeling loved by whoever it is that we are having in front of us? For this is the true connection between us and the teacher. And as we sit here in meditation, we visualize clear light emanating from the teacher's third eye chakra as it's pulsating within us simultaneously. We sit in this meditation knowing that our teacher is always here for us, always within us all along. And as his third eye gradually pulsates into clear light, it radiates the letter Om. And from the teacher's throat sprang out the red light of blood. This is the love of compassion, where we all can sacrifice for one another. This is what we call true love. As the teacher radiates out red light from his or her throat, we visualize a red light coming out from the teacher, knowing that love is within our reach. And as we visualize our teacher going, as we visualize our teacher radiating out this red light of clear joy, of true compassion, we experience the syllable ah. And as the energy that we have generated from our breath of fire, it enters into our heart as the teacher's light energy from the heart emanates within us simultaneously. We experience this overwhelming sense of joy that no matter what happens, we are inseparable from the Guru. That you and I here are no separate from one another. And as we experience the syllable, we experience the light emanating from our heart came with the syllable home. Then from the heart, we experience that light energy begins to spiral down to our solar plex. Knowing that I am who I am, that I am confident, that I am serene. And then as that energy travels down to our sacral chakra, we might have this enormous feeling of belonging for other beings. May that radiation of the sacral chakra heal all beings, knowing that we are all going to be all right, that we are all sacred. As the energy travels down to our root chakra, you may feel that there's a tingling right beneath where your base of your spine is. You realize that is nothing more than our Kundalini. That is part of our awakening. That is our rejuvenation. That as it grows, do not be afraid. Let roots come out of you. Let it take in the energy within the earth. within wherever you are. May it be that every being, as we grow into a tree, that all can seek refuge within us. As we begin to ground more of that root into Mother Earth, we visualize the energy of Mother Earth coming out from her core into ourselves. We'll stay here a couple minutes to contemplate not just the love that Mother Earth has us, but all beings, including our teacher, have for us, and that we have for all of them and ourselves. As we look into the world that we have created, we know that this universe is also the same one that we live in. That this universe we create and the ones that we are living in are no different. We notice that the moment we bring ourselves to love, we become it. As we experience the love around us and the power of the Guru within and without of us, we sense this rain of light raining down from the sky, showering us so that we can wash away all negativities. And to help us know that these negativities are our sense of nurture, that this is helping us grow as a person, just like how love would grow in any angle, from any soil. This is the clear light of mind. This is the lotus in the water. And as the clear light rains on us, we radiate out clear light, radiating in all directions, from all within, all without, all around us, behind us, above us, below us, everywhere. And as we radiate, we sense that our guru dissolves into clear light. That now the teacher of love is no separate from us. He is part of us. That we are part of them. And as we are dissolving into this clear light of day, we also feel like our ego is also dissolving. That there is nothing left. All that is that clear light of mind. This is what we call the Dzogchen Chenpa, Dzogpa Chenpo, which is this clear light of mind as it is, not by emotions, not by anything. As we rest in that clear light, we would like to thank our guide, our teacher, whomever we visualize today, that he or she has led you through the route of your mind and help you know that you are that clear light. And that may you bring this intention, this awareness, this enlightenment to everyone who you come in contact with. And one of those people could be somebody who has passed away, or some parts of yourself has passed away. Thus, I would like you guys that as we repeat this word to whoever had passed away, that made this wisdom be known to them. You can say this out loud, or you can say it within your mind, dedicating this practice to those who have deceased. Hey, noble one, your name, so and so, whoever you want your name to be. Now the time has come for you to seek the way. Just as your breath stops, the objective clear light of the first between will dawn, as previously described to you by your teacher. Your breath stops, and you experience reality's dark and void-like space. Your immaculate naked awareness, dawning clear and void without horizon or center. At that distance, you yourself must recognize this as yourself. You must stay with that experience. I will describe it again to you at that moment. Now this mirage you see is the sign of earth dissolving in water. The smoke is the sign of water dissolving into fire. These fireflies are the sign of fire dissolving into wind. This candle flame is the sign of wind dissolving into consciousness. This moonlight sky is the sign of consciousness dissolving into luminance. This sunlit sky is the sign of luminance dissolving into radiance. This pre-dawn twilight sky is a sign of eminence dissolving into clear light. Venerable teacher, please act on your spiritual conception without wavering. Hey, noble one, now you have arrived at so-called death. So you should conduct yourself according to your conception of the spirit of enlightenment. You should conceive your spirit of enlightenment thus: alas, I have arrived at the time of death. From now, relying on this death, I will develop my spirit only by contemplating the conception of the spirit of enlightenment, of love and compassion. For the sake of the whole space full of beings, I shall attain perfect Buddhahood, Christ consciousness, Krishna consciousness. And especially, you should think, now for the sake of all beings, I will recognize the death clear light as the body of truth. within its experience, I will attain the supreme accomplishment of the Great Seal, Dzogchen, and I will accomplish the purposes of all beings. If I don't attain that, then in the time of the between, I will recognize this as the between. I will realize that between as the Great Seal body of integration, and I will accomplish the purpose of all the infinite space for beings by manifesting whatsoever is needed to tame whomsoever, thus never losing the willpower of that spiritual conception. You should remember the experience of whatever instructions you have previously practiced. Venerable teacher, right now, the objective clear light dawns for you. Recognize it. Please incorporate it within your experience. Hey, noble one, your name's so-and-so. Listen here. Now the clear light of reality dawns for you. Recognize it. Hey, noble one. This, your present, conscious, natural, clear void awareness. This presence in clear voidness, without any objectivity of substance, sign, or color. Just this is the reality, the mother, Buddha all around goodness, Christ all around goodness, and this, your conscious awareness, natural voidness, not succumbing to a false annihilative voidness, just your own conscious awareness, unceasing, bright, distinct, and vibrant. Just this awareness is the Father, Buddha all around goodness, Christ around goodness. Just this presence of the indivisibility of your awareness, naturally unsubstantial voidness, and the vibrant, bright presence of your conscious awareness. Just this is the Buddha body of truth, the Christ body of truth. Your awareness thus abides in this vast mass of light, of clarity, void, indivisible. You are free of birth and death. Just this is the Buddha changeless light. It is enough just to recognize this. Recognizing this, your own conscious awareness, purity nature, as the Buddha, Christ, Krishna, yourself beholding your own awareness. That is to dwell in the inner realization of all Buddhas. Hey, noble one, your name's so and so. Listen here. Now the pure, clear light of reality dawns for you. Recognize it. Hey, noble one, this, your present conscious, natural clear void awareness, this presence in clear voidness, without any objectivity of substance, sign, or color. Just this is the reality. The mother, Buddha all around goodness, Christ all around goodness. And this, your conscious awareness, natural voidness, not succumbing to a false annihilative voidness, just your own conscious awareness, unceasing, bright, distinct, and vibrant. Just this awareness is the Father, Buddha all around goodness. Just this presence of the indivisibility of your awareness, naturally unsubstantial voidness, and the vibrant, bright presence of your conscious awareness. Just this is the Buddha body of truth. Your awareness thus abides in this vast mass of light, of clarity, void, indivisible. You are free of birth or death. Just this is the Buddha changeless light. This is enough to recognize this. Recognizing this, your own consciousness, awareness, purity, nature, as the Buddha, yourself beholding your own awareness, that is to dwell in the inner realization of all Buddhas, all Christ, all Krishnas. Hey, noble one, meditate on this your archetype deity. Do not be distracted. Aim your intense willpower towards your archetype deity. Meditate it as apparent, but realityless, like the moon in water. Don't meditate it as material. And as the dead, or what part of you that has gone to the bardo beyond? The present, the future. as we leave this meditation in the awareness that all things are part of this clear light, we can take a deep breath in and deep breath out, knowing that now we are returning back to this reality. In this world where violence has erupted and dictated our world, may we know that all things, all living beings deserve love, just like how we deserve love. If there is any last intentions, please dedicate this to your teacher, your guru, and let it go. And let's take this one last moment to thank ourselves and everybody around you for bringing this meditation into this group. That may all beings benefit from our practice today. All right, so you guys can unmute yourself right now.
Hey, hey. Still, that was neat. I liked it. So that's that Dzogchen you were talking about?
Yes, that is what we call the meditation on the clear light of mind, which is from Tibetan Buddhism.
I like.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Definitely. I've got like several other things going on though. Should probably mute myself. Thank you, Andy.
No problem. If you guys want to hang out a little longer, that might be great, because I heard some of you guys want to ask some questions about Dzogchen and everything.
It seems more like it's like a journey meditation, isn't it?
It is. And not only are you visualizing the universe, you're also going on a journey, where you're experiencing what other human beings are doing. It's like, first I do what we call first I'm doing what we call like a meditation where you see and your guru or your teacher as like this ball of light, and as you dissolve into light, you know that I am inseparable from you and everyone. And then after that, like, once we already got that, I played upon your the way how we has empathy for one another, and that's how I actually help you guys progress further into that path, to the point where, okay, so if other human beings can experience this, I'm going to experience the same thing, and that all these horrible things that that was described is just there. Hey, Sherman, you missed the meditation.
Oh, yeah, I just got back from dinner. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. At least we have the video for it.
Sweet.
Yeah, I want to get the link.
So
for
yeah,
that
tell
video.
me.
That was really cool. I just come in like, I guess, I don't know, about 15, 20 minutes into it. It didn't take me long to get right into it, just from, I guess, like you were saying, Andy, kind of resonating with that oneness, and I just picked up on your energy right away, and it just drew me right in.
What I'm trying to do is, just like how you always said to me that Tibetan Buddhism or any form of esoteric or mystery practice, it requires you to transmit energy and not just communication. This is a form of energy.
Yeah.
It will require me to like be at a certain state and like certain time and everything, you know, like perfect timing in order to get like into that state of mind, and like I had to utilize a lot of stuff to actually get you guys to wherever you want to go.
What kind of stuff are you talking about?
It's Dzogchen, any mystery school practices.
So I get that you're as through the vibrations of the Om that makes everybody resonate pretty much the same, and that's another part of it, right?
Yes, that is part of it, where we was to like make you be able to visualize and feel. Like, do you remember how last time you were in the mystery school, the Maryland Mystery School, where Michael said that in order to be superhuman, you had to experience everything at its fullest extent, right?
Right, yeah.
Yes. That is the goal of what we're doing. Is I'm trying to not only make you just simply like visualize it, but like be there, like as though you are in that journey, like you are in that universe.
Right. Yeah, that was really cool. And I like what you said about how the universe that you're in is also, you know, the universe that you're seeing and visualizing is also the universe that you're in, like sitting there. They're not. There's no different. They're no different.
Right, right, and like that's. Wait, what's going on?
Oh, I'm just my voice. I hear it echoing.
It's all right, but like I think that's Sherman's end. I guess Are you there, Sherman? Okay, I think he's busy.
Oh no, I saw his. There he goes.
Sorry. Wait, wait, are we going to a new hangout? What is this in the chat?
We're just talking.
Dude. Like we were talking about like what what Dzogchen really is, so that way this is like the after party where it's like we do comments about Dzogchen meditation, because the thing is the thing about not just we're not just simply like experiencing, we had to actually learn how to think of it intellectually, so that way a lot of people will about what Dzogchen is, or whatever Kabbalah or the 7 principles of alchemy or hermetics, they will do the same thing. So like, can you, all right, and Saxon, can you like unmute yourself and like talk about what you just experienced a moment ago? It's okay if you don't have to speak.
Was you talking to me or other people?
Well, I'm talking to Insect, because the thing is he was like singing his state for a long time. He said he had some ego died in him already.
That does bring up a question that I kind of wonder about. The ego, is it really something that we should let completely go, because it's kind of like a representative in this world? So isn't it something we should like at least recognize it's a representative and not ourselves?
I think the ego, I think it's really interesting all of the parts the ego plays and how we're taught to or kind of automatically aspire to completely rid ourselves of the ego, if that makes sense. But I do think the ego does serve a very important purpose to remind us who and what we are not, even though we are to a certain point, everyone thought they were just their ego, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I
But
think,
I was just curious, because I always say that this life is important no matter what our whole soul is, that we're living this life. So isn't it important to be able to keep that part of ourselves at least in check? I mean, we know it's there. It's not going to go away completely, except possibly in meditation. But you can't. I don't think, anyway, that you can live your life in meditation when dealing with stuff on a mundane level day to day. You might be able to stay calm and keep a consistent awareness about yourself, but
yeah,
doesn't the ego like play a part of dealing with people in a day-to-day world?
I think it totally does, and I think it totally also, like you had said, only with practice. And I think I think that was a very very astute point you had made, that very rarely do we are we able to experience ego death, or at least momentary death or removal of the ego. But I think that's why those moments are so, if you will, transcendent and stick with us. Because they are that monumental. You know what I mean? But I think that also stays to teach us and or remind us how we are when we come across those experiences where we experience temporary ego death, if you will.
Yeah.
And I think the only real difference between us, in a sense, and the ascended masters are they have, even though they may not have it, it's almost like, and I really can't fully speak on this, only because I do not believe I have experienced ego death, but this is just my hypothesis, if you will, a thought in progress. But to stay reminded of what it is like to always have that ego in check, which I feel like is a big portion of enlightenment, if you will, to not necessarily forget, well, not necessarily to forget or drown out or kill, if you will, the ego, but always to keep in mind that the ego is always there, and the ability that we have to keep it as much in conscious check as we can.
Right. Yeah. Well, what do people consider to be the ego? For me, it's basically just like a representative. It's the me that I designed to deal with this world. And for the longest time, I thought that was who I was.
Right.
Because that's how I was raised. I was
Right.
raised to be Tony. But once I started practicing meditation and getting more into understanding the transcendental nature of things, I realized that there's way more to me than just Tony, but that's still part of me. So I recognize it as being a part of me, but it's not me in my wholeness.
Yeah,
And
totally.
I think I can also redesign my ego as well to be less of what I used to be. People change. And of course, like where they had that joke about how many psychiatrists does it take to change a light bulb? It only takes one, but that light bulb must want to change. So,
That's a good one.
so yeah, in that sense, I do believe that, yeah, I have definitely changed, and because it was an active change, and I tried to better myself, and like Ralph Smart says, become the greatest version of myself, and I aspire to that. Now my ego, my representative, is not like I used to be. I'm not near as egotistical as I used to be, even whenever I recognize and have my ego active in my day-to-day life.
Right.
Anybody have any comments
Oh,
on that?
definitely. Like,
For what? I just was thinking that it's sort of speaking out loud the way I feel about it.
you just,
I don't know.
you know, that's why, like, have you ever heard of this so-called moment, the in between you dying and you being born again? That's one of the few most valuable experience in your life where you actually, like, if you experience and know that you are coming from this clear light and knowing that, oh, I am not separate from it, then eventually you're going to say, okay, so I don't actually have an ego, and that I can be anyone I want or anything. That everything is just me.
No, I totally understand
Like,
what you're saying.
Like, that's the thing. That's why, like, when I make you repeat after what I said when I was reading the Tibetan Book of the Dead, it wasn't no accident I did that.
The thing that I want to touch upon that you said, Andy, is you said that you know, without the ego, that you can be anything you want or anyone you want. But what about yourself? You know, so I've got a saying that I come up with. It's like, when I consider the infinite possibilities of existence, I can't consider it infinite unless I look at myself as one of those possibilities. So, I mean, does that include the ego that I created? Or what am I calling ego an ego?
I think the ego is really amazing because the ego will do whatever it takes to survive. So I just know I know a lot of this for me is coming from Tolhart, New Earth, but it was demonstrated put very well for me in those terms, at least in that book, that regardless of the situation, the ego will always find something to cling to. And I feel like that's where we just need to, like, I think the most monumental point you had just made, Tony, was that mindfulness. And that I believe if you are constantly, or at least to the best of your abilities, try to keep that mindfulness about the ego, that in itself is keeping the ego in check, which in itself is diminishing the impact the ego has, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I don't see how the ego, if it's your own creation, could necessarily be a bad thing. It seems to me that the ego is it's not always about falsities and stuff like that. I believe, why can't we befriend the ego? Why can't we educate the ego to the
Right.
point where it exists coexist understandably and with the same respect that we have for our wholeness, to the point where, you know, the ego just becomes part of that wholeness, and it's no longer something that is, like they say, slay the slayer, but it's more like, to me, befriend the slayer, because then you don't have to deal with always fighting it, because it's willing to do what the whole part of itself, or you, or it recognizes the part of its existence within the wholeness.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Tony. Actually, just to say, you know, I think that's an excellent point.
Thanks. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. You know, I have been egotistical in the past. I recognize that, you know, just the person talking, I am who I am. I am Tony, but at the same time, I recognize that I'm part of the greater whole. So,
Right.
in that essence, is that my ego realizing that it's not the all, be all and end all of my existence, and therefore educating me into realizing myself?
See, I'm kind of stuck here because I don't. I'm sorry.
So am I. That's why I'm.
Yeah, I'm really trying to stay away from the paradoxical choo-choo train that's whizzing by right now. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm split because part of me wants to say, you know, I completely understand with what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. But then again, you know, even still comes in the I am, therefore I am, you know, but I am, therefore I am not, if you will, if that makes sense at all.
Right. Yeah.
And so, you know, I mean, I now I'm kind of really stuck because I don't know if it's all been linked or looped together to whereas the ego could quite literally, because it is all about integration, you know what I mean? And, way to go, Tony. Now my brain hurts.
I'm so sorry. I just try. You know, love is the answer. I know that. So
Yeah.
to me, that's what I do. Is I love myself. So if it starts with self-love, then you should be on the right track.
Right.
So that's Sherman, if you really like a moment ago, I was reading from the Tibetan Book of the Dead that this book is like I took Tony and several like 700 people on this hangout to a little journey where you know, like we had to repeat this to ourselves, like whoever has passed on to the other side, that we say this.
Uh-huh.
You said that your ego is dissolving. It's like I said, now this mirage you see is a sign of earth dissolving into water.
Mm-hmm.
It's all symbolism, where like your outer breath stops and your experience reality is stark and void like space. That means everything just becomes so vivid to you. And the smoke is a sign of water dissolving into fire. The fireflies, it all dissolved down into this one point where it said clear light. That means everything is just a manifestation of our consciousness. And
Right.
why is it called the clear light? Is because like that's how that's the mind is alive and is breathing. The moment that we see everything as ourselves and that is breathing, it actually we're not only more connected, we're actually like going to reach enlightenment a lot quicker because we know that we're not alone. We are part of this organism that we're living in.
Andy, maybe you can answer this question for me. If the ego, or what I consider to be the ego, I won't say we, but what I consider to be the ego, is willing to dissolve into oneness, is it an ego?
Well, what is an ego in the first place? Let's look at that, because first off,
the answer.
Like that's what goes back to in psychology. Right, going back to what psychology is, an ego is nothing more than a self-defense mechanism. In fact,
I thought it was also a self-construct.
Wait, it's a what?
I thought it was also a self-construct because our ego is, you know, like our ego is constructed throughout life, through our experiences, through our...
What we call a self-defense mechanism, it's not only is a self-construct, but it has a purpose in there. So therefore, when you're constructing the ego, it's like you're saying, this is my clear boundary because I was conditioned to be this and that. That is what the ego is. But if you were to erase that boundary, where's the ego?
So
That's
after
why
I'm
I'm
trying
trying
so
when I ask those questions, it's like there is a, I don't know where did the ego come from in the first place.
so if the ego is just a self-defense mechanism that you basically just construct growing up, then once you rise above the whole idea of survival and individuality and recognize the oneness in the whole and that every person is light, so really you don't no longer have an ego.
Well, that is exactly what you just said. That is exactly what is happening.
Well, it was more of a question, but yeah, I guess I did just say it.
Exactly what happens. That's why whenever, like, when you read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, it's like you're not only experiencing, why I say I in there is because I am speaking in the perspective of not only you as a dead person, but you have to know that you are that dead person, no matter how many times you say you're alive. It is true. We're all just dead human beings who we're only alive because there was only one heartbeat and one breath, and that's all it takes to make you live. And that's also, if you take that away, that's how much it takes to kill you.
That's true.
That's why in quantum mechanics there is what we call a quantum suicide and a quantum survival. And that we all, if we choose to continue on to know that we live like as though we live once, and love others like as though we live many times, the world will be totally different.
Oh, wow. I just come up with something I think is right, and I hope this helps you, Sherman. The ego is a part of you that's afraid to die. Once you lose that fear of death, then you lose the ego.
That's great. That actually simplifies a lot, which I hate when things are simplified in any of the areas of the esoteric or the metaphysical, only because in all of my studies and research, the simpler it is, the more true it usually rings.
Well, that's what I do try to do. I try to make it simple. I hate being confusing. Well, I dislike being confusing, but sometimes you have to get confused to try to understand where it is that you're going with it. And I didn't mean to do that with you, but it was something I really wanted an answer for.
Oh no, not at all, not at all. I was just it happens with me because we all are fine line riders of the paradoxical train that just continues spiraling into itself. You know what I mean?
But
So
yes,
if we end up, I feel like on either side of the line too far, it's gonna just kind of spin right back into a paradox.
but I still like, getting back on the rail too. And usually that works with just a simplified way of looking at it.
Totally.
And based on what Andy said, that's where I come up with that whole idea that part of you that fears death, that's the ego. That fears not just death, but consistency. No, maybe it is just death. I don't want to complicate it because it was already simple. So yeah, basically, just like that. Yeah, if it's the part of you that fears death, and then once you get beyond that fear of death, yeah, I don't see how the ego can continue to exist.
Yeah, that's so great. And they say to truly, be reborn, we have to die first. So
Yes.
that's so very interesting.